Well, hi everyone, it's Mary here at Shelby County Extension, and we are here tonight to bring you the record-keeping workshop that I promised you that we would have for this year. Hopefully this works for everybody. You found me on YouTube or you've joined me live, so hopefully this will be helpful to you as you put together your record-keeping system for the 2018-19 4-H year. I'm going to be sharing a few screens with you, so bear with me. I'm not a technology expert, but I'll try to do my very best. If you have questions, those of you that are joining me live, if you have questions, if you will use the chat box, I have muted you all so that we don't get interrupted. But feel free to ask questions. And those of you that are joining me on my YouTube page, if you have questions after you're done viewing it, please give us a call here at the Extension office. We'd be happy to help you with that and guide you through this record-keeping fiasco that we do here in our 4-H world. So let's get started, and I'm going to start off by sharing a screen with you, so bear with me. All right, so here we are, record book guidelines and tips for 2019. These are the same guidelines and tips that we've used the last couple of years. The 4-H committee has not made any changes, but it's always good to go through these. We always learn something new as we go through it each and every year. So join me as we go along. The first question that I always get asked is, where are all of these forms? And they are located on our Shelby County Extension website. So if you go to www.extension.iastate.edu/Shelby/4H. I know that's a mouthful. Hopefully you have that bookmarked already and you can find that very easily. And you will take a look at our page. What I'm going to do is share that page with you right now, so bear with me as I find it for you. And here we are. This is what our page looks like. At Shelby County Extension, this is our main page. If you go right up here to the red bar and go down, you will see that Shelby County 4-H has a separate page. So on our 4-H page, you will find all of our newsletters. There's some 4-H club officer information, and then you're going to find our record-keeping information. So the first page that I'm going to direct you to is record book guidelines and tips. So if we click on that, you can see that our forms just pop right up. So hopefully that's easy for you to find out where all of the information is. This guidelines and tips is very useful for anyone putting together a record book. This is what I'm going to use tonight as our guide as we go through record keeping. So bear with me again as I switch pages. Okay, so there we are with our record keeping information. Again, using that record book guidelines and tips, very beneficial for you, easy to follow, I believe, information put out there for you, put together by the 4-H committee, and very useful information. So what we're going to do, the first thing we are going to do is just go through this. Where is everything at, and how do we put this all together? So the first thing that you're going to do in your 4-H record book, I'm actually going to, nope, we're going to keep going this way, sorry. The first thing you're going to do is put a tab divider with the year. Your tab dividers should be visible. Some of our 4-Hers choose to use clear plastic sleeves to put all of their papers in. That is absolutely not necessary, but I know a lot of us like to do that. It makes it nice and neat in our books. What that does, though, is makes it a little bit more difficult to see those tab dividers. So if you are using those clear plastic sleeves, make sure that those tab dividers stick out so they're easily read. There is a product, this product by Avery, these self-adhesive index tabs are really nice to use. I do not recommend using a sticky note or the 3M Post-it type things, as those do come off pretty easy. This product, and again, not really marketing for it, but it has worked well for me over the years. It works really well. They are sticky these little white pieces on there that you see, they stick to that clear plastic sleeve, and you can put in the paper so that it says exactly what you want it to say in there. So those are a nice thing, and you can see the product there, the product number if you want to order that. They are sometimes hard to find, but if you need to order that, the product number is 82000, and that is an Avery product. So just a little tip there for you. So the first thing you're going to see is that tab divider. The next page is going to be your cover page. Your cover page is going to include a picture of yourself. And gosh, you can use your school picture. You can use a picture of you exhibiting at the Shelby County Fair. You can use a picture of you at a workshop, at a 4-H meeting, whatever picture you would like. Make sure that your name is on there, your club name, your age. Let's talk a little bit about age. What is your age? Your age is what you were in September of last year. So our 4-H year runs September through August. And so whatever your age was on September 1st of 2018 is the age that you should be using there. And then your grade level. So what grade were you in last year? Were you a 6th grader last year and you're going to be a 7th grader? We want you to put 6th grade on here because the 4-H year, again, runs similarly to the school year, September through August. And so we want to make sure that you're putting the right age level in there. So that's your cover page. So got that done? We're ready to move on. The next page that we're going to use, you have a choice. You can either use the yearly summary, so this form that I'm going to walk through with you, or you can do a 4-H story, and we will talk about that in just a moment. So this is what the yearly summary looks like, and I'm going to go back and share, go back to the website. Again, bear with me as I click through these. Sometimes it's a little hard to find them all as I click around. So I'm back on our Shelby County 4-H website, and the really nice thing that we have done here is made these forms very accessible for you. So we're still on this 4-H website with the newsletters on there. Go down here and 4-H record keeping forms. So all of our record keeping forms are on the extension website. I'm going to go back and just show you one piece of information that I think is helpful that I've added. Record keeping forms. There are 3 record keeping forms that you can use. There's basic, which we recommend for junior 4-Hers. Those are grades 4 through 6. Experienced, intermediate 4-Hers, grades 7 through 8. And advanced, which are for senior 4-Hers, grades 9 through 12. So that's always a little bit confusing for people, especially when we're a little bit newer to the 4-H program, as to what those age levels are. So basic, experienced, and advanced. So we're going to go back to those record keeping forms. And you'll see right here the record keeping forms down here. We're going to start up here, yearly 4-H summary. So, and you can see there, you can do that or the 4-H story as that downloads. The nice thing that they did this year, so our friends at the State 4-H office have made this fillable for us. So thank you so much for doing that. So you're going to put in your year. So we're going to put in your 2018-19 because again, this is for the last year. Not the one moving forward. And you can fill in your name. So my name is Mary, my county. So you can see that it's very fillable. I'm sure I'm 17, right? I'm in the 11th grade. I've been in 4-H for 7 years. So very fillable in there. So let's talk about some of these fields that we want to fill in. So the first one is 4-H participation. So we're going to list all your local club, county, area, and state events, including your leadership and your civic engagement experiences. You're going to notice on the forms that the terminology for citizenship has changed to civic engagement. So a little bit of a change there, probably a little more appropriate for what we are actually doing as being civically minded. So what I would recommend in here is go ahead and use bullet points. So I am the president of my club, and so my Clay Clovers 4-H club, I was the president of that, and I'm the treasurer of the county council, and I made a pie for the county fair, which was a fundraiser. Those are all civic-minded opportunities that we have here in Shelby County 4-H. I was a Clover Kid Fun Day leader, and I helped with the county council fun night at the county fair. Hard to talk and type. And you can see that those get smaller as you go, and you can put as many bullet points as you wish in there. I would caution you, don't make that print too small. Leaders don't like to have to get out the magnifying glass to read that. You can come over here, space over, and you could make another column over here. So lots of ways to get all that 4-H participation listed in there for you. The next field is recognition. So list any ribbons that you received, your name in the paper, certificates, local or state awards. So pretty self-explanatory there. Again, I'd recommend using bullet points. I got 4 blue ribbons at the county fair. And I got 2 red ribbons. And you could list what they were for. And maybe I received a 1 red ribbon at the state fair. You may not have that information yet. You may not know quite yet what your state fair ribbons will be. But if you know that information, you can put that in. And then maybe my name was in the paper because I helped with the Clover Kid Fun Day, or I received a certificate for participating in an event. So you can put those in there. Communications, we're going to list in here, again, using bullet points. You don't have to write this in full sentence form. Let's make it easy on us. So I did an educational presentation at my club, and it was on bluebirds. And then I did a working exhibit at the county fair on summer safety. And maybe I went and talked with the Kiwanis. Kiwanis talk about 4-H leadership. So lots of different things we can do in there. Maybe it's not all just at your club level or at the county fair. It could be at the state fair. It could be other times that you talk about the 4-H program or talk about things that you're doing in 4-H at different civic organizations. So those can all go in there. Then list all those wonderful things that your parents have you do at home, all of your chores. So maybe it's your job to put the dishes in the dishwasher. Or maybe it is your responsibility to feed the cat. Or maybe it's your responsibility to mow the lawn. So whatever those responsibilities you have at home, go right in there. The next one, you're going to list those organizations, honors, and activities that you are participating in at school. So we want to know about those organizations, that you're a member of the band or the chorus, or maybe you're a student council member, you're the uniform manager for the band, or maybe you're a wrestling cheerleader or the tennis team manager, whatever those activities are that you are doing at school. Maybe you're part of the Key Club, whatever that is, list those in here. People in 4-H world want to know that our 4-Hers are not just in 4-H, that they are doing other things, that they are a well-rounded young person. So then again, listing using bullet points, list all of those organizations, church, volunteer work, employment, all those different things that you are participating in the community. So again, wanting to be sure that our 4-Hers are not just one or two things, that they're doing lots of things in our communities. Well-rounded kids make great adults. So we want to make sure that we're acknowledging all those things as well. And put down there, gosh, you know what? I volunteer at the Ronald McDonald House, twice this year, or I, went with my church on a mission trip, or whatever that is. Make sure that you're listing those in here. This part of the page is often very misused. So it states, fill out the sections for projects that you did not complete a separate project record form. And we're going to talk about project records in just a moment. And then briefly summarize what you did and what you learned. So if I choose not to fill out a full project record for a project area, but I still did something in that project area, this is where I'm going to list that. So maybe I did something in woodworking. I didn't do a lot. This is my second year in woodworking. And maybe this year what I did was I learned how to use a miter box. You know, I didn't really make anything that I could have exhibited at the fair. I didn't really, you know, finish a project, but I learned how to use a miter box. And then, so they want to know what you did, and you can talk a little bit about that. And then what did you learn? That's the most important part about the 4-H program, is what did you learn? I learned that making a corner is difficult and takes lots of practice. You know, different things like that. And that you're going to continue to work on it. And perfect it so that you can use it as an exhibit someday. Down here at the bottom, so you would do that for all of those project areas that you maybe did, you had some learning in that, you did a few things, but maybe not enough that you want to do a complete project record on, which is just fine. But that's what goes in there. Then down here at the bottom, the end of year, you summarize your accomplishments, or you can add additional project area worksheets or other supporting materials. So that's what we're going to get to right now. So bear with me again as I click through this. And I'm having a little trouble there. Okay. So the next thing that you could do is you could write a 4-H story. Let me go back. Sorry, I do all this clicking around. It gets a little bit confusing for all of us, I think. Got to click on the right thing. So sorry about that. It takes me a little bit to get to the right spot. Okay. All right. So we went through all of this, or you can do your 4-H story. So in your 4-H story, I'm going to direct you back to that sheet, your guidelines and tips. And it's going to tell you really everything that you should put in your 4-H story. It's basically listing everything that you would have put in that 4-H summary, but you can do it in paragraph form. Some people really like to write about their 4-H story, so you can put that in there. And if you go look at that guidelines and tips, it's going to give you exactly the information that you will want to see in there. So I encourage you to follow along on that guidelines and tips for that. All right, next is your supporting materials. So now we're going to put in all of those pictures, clippings, awards, newspaper clippings, reporter's notes, years of membership certificate, all of those things that do not go with your project area. So we're kind of doing this a little backwards, but if you are doing a project record for food and nutrition, and you participated in the Pie and Muffin contest, you would not put the pictures or any of that supporting materials about the Pie and Muffin contest in this area. You would put that with your food and nutrition area, or you could put it with your civic engagement area as well, because that is part of a civic engagement project as well. So you do not put ribbons in here. You don't put receipts in here. It's not a scrapbook. But this is where you would put any of those supporting materials that don't go with a project area. Hopefully that's pretty clear. What goes here and what goes in the project area. We're going to talk a little bit more about that as we continue through this. So supporting materials, all those pictures. If there's a great picture of your club as you're being inducted as the club officer, those types of things, group pictures go in here unless it can specifically go to support one of your project areas. So here we are, project areas. So we're going to put in a separate tab divider for each project area. So far we have our tab divider with the year. We have the tab divider with the, I always have to look and make sure that I'm telling you right, tab divider with the support materials. And now we're going to have a tab divider for each project area. So that project area might be food and nutrition. It might be market beef. It might be dairy goats. It might be woodworking. Lots of different project areas. So what is a project area? Bear with me again as I click around. Okay, so here we are back on our record keeping page. I'm going to take you back. We have a list right here of all of the different project areas. So if you have a question about what is a project area, you can look right here. And this is the complete list of all of the different project areas. Keep in mind, a project area, again, is not an event or activity that happens at the county fair. Pie and muffin contest is not a project area. Food and nutrition is. The clothing event is not a project area, but clothing is. Educational presentations is not a project area, but communications is. Hopefully that makes sense to you, what's a project area and what is not a project area. Again, if you look right here, on our website, there is a full list of all of those project areas. And I'm going to show you another place where you can see all that list as well. So we're going to go back again. I know lots of clicking around here. Sorry about that. No real easy way to do this. So our project records. Again, basic is for the juniors, experience for intermediates, and advanced for the senior 4-Hers. Let's look at the basic 4-H record, because usually it's junior 4-Hers and parents that are joining me on this workshop. So again, really nice that the state office has made these very fillable for us. That is a change, and we appreciate that. So you're going to put in 2018-19, you're going to fill in your name, your county, all of that good information, and then your project area. So project area is going to be food and nutrition. Okay. How many years have I been enrolled to this project area? 2. If I'm a junior 4-Her, likely 2. Or 1, or 3, or 5, whatever it is. For this project area. So you see up here in this gray box, it says beginning of the year. Yeah, we probably should have been doing that at the beginning of the year and not at this point. So hopefully, I know I came around to some clubs and we talked about this earlier in the year. Hopefully you took some time and you did set those goals. What do you want to do? What do you want to learn in the different project areas? So if you didn't, now's the time to do that. What was it that you wanted to learn or do in that project area? And if you didn't, I'm going to encourage you, after you're done with your record book for this year, go in and do that for next year and have that all done. It will make planning for your year a lot easier and also make your record book a year from now a lot easier too. And then list what you did for the year. So maybe at the beginning of the year, I want to learn to make breakfast for my family. Okay, that's a pretty good thing that you would like to learn to do. So during the year, I did these things. I helped my mom make pancakes. I went to Grandma's house. Grandma's house. Grandma helped me make cinnamon rolls. What's better for breakfast than cinnamon rolls? I learned, oops, I didn't put my, there we go. I learned how to make fresh squeezed orange juice. Awesome. I made a grocery list for my family for 3 meals. Maybe I learned how to boil eggs. That is not as easy as it sounds to make them turn out so they're not green. You know what I'm talking about. Maybe I learned how to, I ordered for myself at a restaurant. So lots of things like that that you can do through the year. It doesn't have to just focus on that goal that you had, but what are those things in food and nutrition that you did? You know, maybe you made cupcakes for my little brother's birthday party. And maybe I decorated cupcakes and it does not have spell check on it. I decorated cupcakes for my grandma's birthday. So lots of different things that you can do. I think you get the idea of what goes in there. Okay, during the year, my favorite part of this project was, what was your favorite thing that you learned to do? What was your favorite thing that you did? Probably decorating those cupcakes would have been about my favorite one. But what was that your favorite part to do? And then what did you learn? This is the most important part of this document is what did you learn? I learned that decorating cupcakes is not as easy as it looks. I learned that, you know, grocery shopping without a list is not a good idea, that you usually spend a lot more. I learned that making cinnamon rolls was a lot of fun. I learned how to use yeast. I learned, not to get it too hot, too cold. Lots of things you can learn in there. What kind of recognition did you receive? Ribbons, then you put in here, hey, I took those cinnamon rolls to the county fair and I got a blue ribbon. I got a special recognition, whatever that is. Then this has changed a little bit. So some of you guys that have done this before, hopefully you're paying attention, and there's a little bit of self-evaluation here. How do you feel about what you did? Rate yourself. What I did was great, how I feel about it, and I shared with someone else what I did or learned. This is so important. That's in that leadership and that citizenship project areas that we're really encouraging kids to start at a younger age thinking about. So, and then tell us a little bit about what you'd like to do next year. So here it is, what I'd like to do next year. Then maybe next year you can look back on this and say, yeah, that was my goal for the year. So thinking ahead a little bit. So we like that. So with that, hopefully that makes a lot of sense to you. Again, I'm going to stop sharing here. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense. Just reading what it says, it's really not rocket science to put those together, but sometimes it is a little confusing. And if you have questions on that, be sure to give us a call here at the Extension office and we'll help you with that as well. Let's move on, because the next part of the record keeping system is probably my favorite part. So we have that project record in there, and then behind that project record is where you get to put all those related pictures and clippings, and you could put your fair write-up in there if you have one of those. So any pictures of you, again, we're talking food and nutrition, any pictures of you making cinnamon rolls with grandma, or decorating the cupcakes, or whatever that is that you have pictures of, or clippings from the newspaper, that's really awesome too, and put those in there. And then, like I say, you can also put your fair write-up in there. So that all goes in there. One thing that I'm going to touch on here that I really don't want to see, not just that I don't want to, but it's not best practice, is in your project record, please do not state "see write-up." You can write it again. It's okay. It doesn't take that long. It's all on the computer. It just appears to be kind of lazy when we see that people will say "see write-up." When the record books are being judged by your leaders, or by when they come in here to the Extension office and they're being judged at this level, make it really easy for us. Make it really easy for us to see what you did, what you learned. Because remember that write-up that you did for your fair exhibit is about one exhibit. We want to see what you learned or what you did for the whole project area. So keeping in mind that county fair is not everything that we do in 4-H, that lots of other things that happen. So Okay, moving on. So we talked a little bit earlier about all of the project areas that are possible out there. So if you go, I'm going to show you where this is at. There's a list of every single project area, not just on on our website, but I will show you. Again, I got to click around a little bit. Make sure I get to the right place. All right. And so when we go to when we're at the extension website, so this is not the Shelby County website, this is the extension website under the 4-H Youth Development. And up here at the top on the bar, it says project areas. So we're going to click on that. And here it is, all of these different project areas. So lots and lots of project areas in 4-H world. Some of them are new. This one was new to me this year, tractor. I don't think we've had tractor before. So that's really exciting to see that the powers that be, I guess you could call them, or the leadership at the state 4-H offices is constantly changing and updating and renewing things to keep up with the interests of our 4-Hers. So look on here for those project areas. Another thing that I will recommend is I'm going to go back. When you are working on your project records, some project areas have project worksheets that also go along with that project record. So when you're in there looking at your project record, also go down here to the project worksheet, just click on it, and it will take us there. It's a little slow. It's going to take you to those project worksheets. You know what? I'm going to take that back. Don't go that way. That's confusing. I am going to take that back. I think that's confusing. That takes you to the store, and I'm not a fan of going in that way. If you go back to the Shelby County page, I made you a link because I thought it was easier. So if you click on project area worksheets right here, and it's not coming up, I'm so sorry. I will have to fix that link. They are not there. It was earlier. So I apologize about that. I do not have that link for you. So I will fix that, and you can look at that later. It will be on our website. So, but there are project worksheets for project areas that you will need to fill out. So it's not for every project area, but some of them do have those, and I thought they were going to be there. So apologize about that. Okay, so let's go back. I'm going to click around again and get back to our PowerPoint so we can see where we are. Okay, so project worksheets. I am just wondering where that went. So project worksheets, you can see, I have it on here, photography, but you know what? I can't find the photography one. I think they have gotten rid of that. So interesting. I think that they have maybe gotten rid of one, but if I find it, I will sure let you guys know. Sorry, I feel like I'm doing a lot of clicking around. Here it is. Sorry about that. If you go under the record keeping forms, then scroll way down, and here are your project area record keeping forms. Sorry, I took you to the wrong place before. Don't click on these project worksheets here. That takes you to the extension store. I think that that's confusing. If you scroll down a little farther, here are those project area record keeping forms that you need. Okay, so all of them are on the livestock side and for shooting sports. So you can look at those. If you have questions about those, please just give us a call at the office, and we'll be happy to help you with that as well. Okay, so far so good. Hope everybody's feeling good about this. We're going to keep moving along. One of the last things that we do is a record-keeping self-evaluation. So again, where's that form at? It's on that record-keeping page, so right where we were at before. Record-keeping page. And if you keep scrolling down, here's all those project area record forms that we saw. If you keep scrolling down, record keeping self-evaluation, the very bottom of that page. And if you have filled this out before, you know that you have to print it and do it by hand. But thanks to our friends at the State 4-H office, they have great leadership up there. They have made it fillable for us. So we can go ahead and put in our names in our club and our information in there. This is a very important form. I really want people to take some time and utilize this and put some thought into it, not just making the checks, but also my additional comments about my 4-H record keeping. How do you really feel about that? Did you do a good job? And maybe not just about your record keeping, you know, am I doing what I should be doing to keep up with my record keeping skills? So put some thought into that. And then club leaders, I'm going to encourage you to put some information in here as well, to go ahead and put some comments in for your 4-H'er about their record keeping and how they're doing with that. Okay, so we're almost there. See, it's not so bad. Everybody thinks, oh, record books, terrible. No, it's not bad. It's a no-tier policy. No tears are to be shed during record keeping. So again, I'm just going to go over with you where those forms are. Sorry, I keep clicking around, but I don't know of any better way to do that. So all of the forms, if you will go to, I have it bookmarked because I'm in here quite a bit, but if you go to www.extension.iastate.edu/Shelby/4H, it will bring you to this page right here where our newsletters and club officer information, and then all of our record book information is on there. Be sure to use the guidelines and tips. This is your guide for exactly what needs to go in your record book and in what order. And then all of your 4-H record keeping forms, that link is there for you. Remember, this is where we found that 4-H yearly summary. I'll remind you what that looked like. That one we went over at the very beginning. And it has those project records. So again, it downloads and you can fill that out online and print that out and put it in your book. And it goes up those project worksheets. Don't click on this one. Scroll down and use these down here because it does take you straight to that and you can just download it and utilize it right there. These you do have to print out. They haven't updated those yet. It'll get there. They're good people at the State 4-H office, so they'll get there. I know they will. And then down way at the bottom is the last piece where you will do that self-evaluation. And again, spend some time on that self-evaluation and let us know how you're coming, how you're doing, and what you need help with. All right. I think we have all of that. Let me just look over my notes here and see. I think we have covered everything. One last thing that I will share is, what do you do with the previous year's records? So if you were in 4-H last year, you completed your record book, which is great. Thanks for doing that and getting it turned into your leader. These records go straight on top. So it goes by year. We don't separate out the different project areas. They just go right on top. So your record book might get to be really thick, but you'll have, say you'll have 2018, and then you have 2019, and then you have 2020. So they can all go in one book. One last thing before I sign off for tonight is that most of you have seen our record book covers, that this is what we ask that our 4-H'ers use for their record books, and they're available here at the office for $3. However, we are out of them here at the office, and National 4-H is out of them as well. So we do not have any available at the time. We sold the last one today. What you can do is, I just made a copy of this and I printed some off. So if you want one of those, and then you can stick it into a sleeve of a binder, you just stick it in there, and that is just perfectly fine to do. Just stick it in like this. And that can just be that piece of paper. or you can print something off yourself. That is perfectly acceptable to do as well. So sorry for those of you that are new and want your very first record book. We'll get them in, and I'll let you guys know as soon as they are available for us. So I think that's all I have for tonight. Again, if you guys have any questions about record keeping, there's lots of great resources out there. Your club leader is going to be a great resource. Paulette and I here at the Extension office will be happy to help you. It's okay to ask questions. Please give us a call, send us an email, or stop in, and we will be happy to help you. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. Hopefully this was helpful to you, and I will be seeing you next time. Thanks, everyone.